Hi beautiful people, welcome again to my channel. For this 64th video of mine, I will share to you what your rights are here in Canada as a temporary foreign worker. As usual, don't forget again to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you find this video helpful. In Canada, what you should know is that the rights of all workers, including temporary foreign workers, are protected by law and you have the same rights and workplace protections as Canadians and permanent residents. Some employers also attach these information in their website, so don't just rely everything with your agency because some of them don't even want to educate you of your rights as a temporary foreign worker here. Now, as per the IRCC website, the employer must give you information about your rights and give you a signed copy of your employment agreement before you apply for your work permit. Meaning to say, before you apply for a work permit, your employer must give you a copy of your employment agreement. It must be in English or in French or both, and you and your employer must sign this agreement. The employment agreement must refer to the same occupation, wages, and working conditions as your job offer. Also, your employer must pay you for your work as stated in your employment agreement, and that includes overtime work if it's included in your agreement. Now, for me, you should be very careful with this third statement because some employers will use this statement against you. Your overtime should show up in your payslip, otherwise, don't do such. Be mindful with rendering free overtimes because this isn't a free world we live in, and unfortunately, the ones who experience this ones are usually the temporary foreign workers who are only getting minimum wage. Having said that, always check your pay slips and call the attention of your manager or employer right away if there are any discrepancies. Another thing is your employer must provide you also with a workplace free of abuse such as reprisals. This means that employers must provide a workplace that is free of abuse, and your employer or anyone acting on behalf of your employer can't abuse you physically, sexually, psychologically, or financially, or make reprisals. Any behavior that scares, controls, or isolates you could be abuse. They even provided samples or examples of some abuse, and they are physical harm, threats or insults, forcing you to work in a way that's unsafe or risky to your health, unwanted sexual touching, controlling where you can go or who you can see, stealing from you, taking any or all of the money you are owed, taking and refusing to return your passport, work permit, or other identification, forcing you to commit fraud, and firing or threatening you for reporting your working conditions or reporting abuse, or for cooperating with an inspection by the government. Your employer must also follow the employment and recruitment standards of the province or territory where you plan to work and also help you access healthcare services if you're hurt or become sick at work. Remember that if you're hurt or are sick at work, you must tell your supervisor as soon as possible and get medical attention. Your employer must allow you to access a healthcare provider like a doctor, nurse, or pharmacist and give you time off to seek medical attention, make a phone available to call emergency services such as an ambulance, give you information how to get healthcare, help you get to the healthcare provider. In addition, your employer doesn't have to pay for you to get to a hospital, clinic, doctor, or other healthcare services. You can speak privately with a healthcare provider without your employer. What are the things that your employer cannot do? Again, as per IRCC, your employer cannot force you to do unsafe work or work that is not in your employment agreement, meaning your employer cannot force you to do work that is dangerous. They can't refuse to pay you for your work, and your employer must look into any danger that is reported at work. You also have the right to refuse to do the work until you and your employer agree that the danger is removed, you receive the proper equipment and training, and the problem no longer exists. Furthermore, your employer must follow employment laws and health and safety laws, train you to do your job safely, including how to safely operate any equipment or machinery, and give you equipment and training if your job requires you to use chemical products. Most provinces and territories offer what they call workers' compensation benefits. This is a payment to make up for lost wages, and this is given when workers are injured or sick because of their work. Your employer cannot stop you from making a workers' compensation claim. In addition, your employer cannot force you to work if you are sick or hurt, and you also do not need your employer's permission to seek health care. Your employer also cannot force you to work overtime if it's not in your employment agreement. They also cannot punish you for reporting mistreatment or unsafe work, or for cooperating with an inspection by the government, and they also cannot take your passport or work permit away from you. They also cannot deport you from Canada or change your immigration status and make you pay back recruitment fees they may have paid to hire you. These are just some of the many information that you can check in the IRCC's website under International Mobility Program. I know that the must and must do are easier said than done, but the only person who can protect yourself is you alone. And that is why before you sign the contract, make sure that the employer and the agency are legit so you don't waste your hard-earned money and so you don't regret also coming here, because even though we are told to be wary of scammers and to read IRCC's guidelines, if at the end of the day we are not knowledgeable and assertive enough to fight for our rights, then everything will still be useless. See you in my next vlog. Paalam!